We are live.
How's it going?
Basiet, where are you?
The Veerhaven studio.
From not so close, not so close.
No, sorry.
Ah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes. Hello everyone, welcome back. It's time for our yoga class. Power Yoga by Basiet. Great to see you all. Saturday morning. Basiet, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Where are you?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. I'm very sweaty. I hope you guys are sweaty as well. I hope you enjoyed the boxing class. Thank you very much for joining, especially those who are supporting us from day one. Keep doing our classes, and I hope to see you very soon live. Let's hope it's going to be very soon. For now, so I'm used. Oh, sorry. Am I still? Yeah. So I'm used to teaching. Thank you. So I'm used to teaching. I'm used to teaching 75-minute classes, and now I only have 45 minutes. So let's get started, okay? For those who did the boxing class, breathe in, breathe out. For those who did not do the boxing class, you missed out, man. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna start. If you're not standing already, come and stand on the front side. You don't have to use a mat. If you don't have a mat, it's fine. You just need a floor and that's it. Have the feet hip width distance. Have the big toe slightly in and just stand. Take a very deep inhale, and when you inhale, imagine lengthening your spine, lengthening the back of the neck. And for the next inhale, shrug your shoulders. Bring your shoulders close to your ears. And then on the exhale, you sigh out and you release. Let's do that one more time. So shrug the shoulders, shoulders up. And then on the exhale, you let go. And now just for a few moments, let's close the eyes if you feel comfortable. Try to have the shoulders relaxed. Take a very deep inhale and expand your belly. Expanding your belly, creating space for your lungs to breathe in a little bit more. Breathe into the nose, expanding your belly. Lengthening the sides of the ribs, maybe expanding the upper back, broadening the shoulders. And when you exhale, do it very slowly. A few more times. Few more moments to tune into yourself. To focus only on your inhales and exhales. Let's do 2 more full cycles of breath. So 2 more deep inhales and slow exhales. And then when your 2 full cycles of breath are done, let's come up with the arms overhead. And interlock the fingers with the palms of the hands facing up. But keep the shoulders relaxed. So increase the distance between your ears and shoulders. Lengthen the back of the neck. If you want to, you can open your eyes again. And then on your next inhale, you lift your heels off the mat. Balance it. Keep focusing on your inhales and exhales. Let's do 1 more full cycle of breath. And when your deep inhale and slow exhale are done, you can lower the heels down. You keep the fingers interlaced, but you lower the arms down parallel to the floor. Take a deep inhale, lengthen the spine. Maybe softly bend your knees, and on the exhale, very slowly, you tuck the tailbone under. You round the lower back. You round the middle back. You round the upper back and the chin on the chest. Stay in this position for 1 full cycle of breath. And then on your next inhale, let's reverse this movement by arching the spine. You can keep the knees a little bit bent. Arch the middle back. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other and the chin towards the ceiling. Stay in that position for 1 full cycle of breath. And then on the exhale, you round the spine. And on your inhale, you arch the spine. Continue in your own pace. And keep focusing on your inhales and exhales. Synchronizing breath and movement. Let's do that one more time. One more full cycle of breath. And when your full cycle of breath is done, come back to that standing position. And maybe already notice the difference around the shoulders. Take one deep inhale in your standing position and a very slow exhale in your standing position. We do one more inhale, and then we're going to use the next full exhale to round down, all the way down for a forward fold. Relax the head, relax the back of the neck, round the spine completely. If you want to, you can bend your knees just a little bit so that the belly is resting on top of the upper legs. Relax the spine completely, let the head be heavy. Take a very deep inhale and expand your belly. And on the exhale, draw your belly button in, creating space for you to fold forward just a little bit deeper. See if you can. One more full cycle of breath. Deep inhale, expand your belly. And on the exhale, fold forward just a little bit more if you can. Good. We do one more inhale and a very slow exhale. Now on the next inhale, let's walk the feet back step by step. Use your full inhales to do so. So move very slowly. You're in plank position. In plank position, have the index fingers parallel to each other and spread the rest of the fingers a little bit out. Press into your toes, engage the muscles in your legs, glutes, your abs, your chest, and have strong arms. Stay in that position for 2 more full cycles of breath. And just like in that standing position, lengthen the spine. Imagine the crown of your head moving forward a little bit more. We do one more inhale. And on the exhale, you walk your hands towards your feet. Use your full exhale to do so, so move very slowly. And when you're in your forward fold, relax the spine. Inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, relax the spine. Fold forward just a little bit more. One more full cycle of breath. Deep inhale. And exhale, fold forward just a little bit more. And on your next inhale, you rise up. You do it very slowly. You can have your knees a little bit bent. You round the spine, but you come up all the way back into standing position on the other side. Let's take 2 full cycles of breath in this standing position. One more full cycle of breath. Okay, let's do one more inhale. And on the exhale, we bow the head. You have heavy arms. You round the upper back. You round the middle back. And you round the lower back. Listen carefully. On your next inhale, you walk your hands forward. Use your full inhale to do so. And then when it's time for you to exhale, you walk your feet forward. You walk your feet forward into that forward fold. And then on your next inhale, you rise up again. Back in that standing position on the front side. Let's start the sun salutation. We'll start with sun A. Big toes touching, heels slightly apart. Relax the shoulders. Everybody, when you're ready, slowly exhale. And on your next inhale, arms overhead. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And on the exhale, fold forward. Use your full exhale to do so. On your inhale, come halfway up, straight spine. You can either have your hands on your knees, shins, or maybe the tips of the fingers on the floor. On an exhale, fold forward. We're going to do that 2 more times. On an inhale, you come halfway up, straight spine. And on the exhale, fold. We're going to do that 1 more time. On an inhale, come halfway up. If you need to, you can bend your knees for a straighter lower back. And on the exhale, fold forward, plant your hands in the mat and step your right foot back and your left foot back. Back in plank position. In your plank position, have the elbows pointing back, so when you bend them, they go back. Shift your weight slightly forward and bend the elbows. Keep your elbows close to your body, all the way down, untap the toes, and on an inhale, just lift your chest for cobra position. And on the exhale, lower down. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift your chest, and on the exhale, relax. 1 more. Whenever it's time for you to inhale, you lift your chest. And on the exhale, you lower down. When you're done, tuck your toes under again. Engage the muscles in your legs, glutes, belly, and chest. And then on an inhale, you push up. And you move the hips up and back for your down dog position. In your down dog position, index fingers parallel to each other, spread the rest of your fingers. You can have the knees bent so that you can create a straight spine. And now start creating a long, straight diagonal line starting from the wrists towards the elbows, shoulders, and hips. Try to relax the shoulders, have the shoulder blades wide. Increase the distance between ears and shoulders. Lengthen the back of the neck and the crown of the head towards the space in between the hands. Down dog. We do one more full cycle of breath, so a deep inhale and a slow exhale. On your next inhale, lift your heels off the mat a little bit more. And on the exhale, softly bend your knees. Next inhale, step your right foot forward in between the hands, left foot forward in between the hands, and come halfway up. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, fold forward. Next inhale, come all the way up with your arms overhead. And on the exhale, hands in front of your chest center. Inhale, arms overhead again. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, fold forward. Sun A, one more time. Inhale, come halfway up. And on the exhale, fold, step your left foot back, your right foot back. Shift your weight slightly forward, and if you want to, you can lower down halfway, so you keep your elbows in a 90-degree angle, and you open your chest by pressing into your hands. Your knees off the mat, you roll over your toes. Open the chest, and on the exhale, down dog. You roll over your toes, you move your hips up and back. Down dog position. Spread your fingers, index fingers parallel to each other. One full cycle of breath. Deep inhale and a slow exhale. Your next inhale, lift your heels off the mat, and on the exhale, bend your knees. Next inhale, step your left foot forward, right foot forward, come halfway up. Deep inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up with your arms overhead. And on the exhale, hands in front of your chest center. Let's do Sun B. Inhale, arms overhead and bend your knees. And on the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up. And on the exhale, if you want to jump, you can jump back to a low plank position. If you don't want to jump, you step back into a low plank position. So you bend your elbows, inhale, upwards facing dog. Open the chest. And on the exhale, down dog. Now in your down dog, pivot on the left foot. And step your right foot forward in between the hands. Find your balance and come up for your warrior one position. In your warrior one position, be mindful of the front knee. The front knee is above the front ankle. Your back leg is strong and straight, and the shoulders are relaxed. One more full cycle of breath. A deep inhale and a very slow exhale. We'll stay in your warrior one position. One more inhale, and on the exhale, gracefully windmill your arms forward. Square the front foot and step the front foot back. Maybe the front foot off the mat when you bring it back, and then you bend your elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Now pivot on the right foot and step the left foot forward. And come up for your warrior one position. On the other side. Shoulders relaxed, front knee above the front ankle. Back leg strong and straight. Keep breathing. Bend that front knee a little bit more. Straighten that back leg a little bit more. Let's do one more deep inhale. And on the exhale, windmill your arms forward. Step that front foot back, maybe back foot off the mat. Shift your weight forward and bend your elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Inhale in your down dog. Exhale in your down dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your right foot forward, left foot forward. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up with your arms overhead. Exhale, hands in front of your chest center. Inhale, arms overhead, bend your knees. And on the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen the spine. Axel, if you want to jump, jump back. Otherwise, step your left foot back, your right foot back. Low plank position. Inhale, upwards facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Pivot on the left foot, step the right foot forward. Warrior one for one deep inhale. And on the exhale, windmill your arms forward, lower down. Low plank position. And on the inhale, on the exhale, down dog position. Pivot on the right foot, step the left foot forward. And on the inhale, warrior one, strong position. Whenever it's time for you to exhale, lower down, low plank position. Inhale, upwards facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Now from this down dog position, we're going to continue the class. Since we don't have a lot of time, let's continue. Now for now, on an inhale, right leg all the way up. Stay in that position for one full cycle of breath. And on your second exhale, step your right foot forward in between the hands. You lower the back knee down and you untuck the back toes. With the arms and the upper body, you come overhead. Let's interlace the fingers behind the back with the right thumb over the left thumb. Fist away from the bum, straighten the arms, lengthen the spine, deep inhale. And on the exhale, let's go for a back bend. 2 more full cycles of breath, deep inhale. And on the exhale, back bend. 1 more time, deep inhale. Exhale, bend a little bit more. Come back to a neutral position for the spine. Release the clasping of the hands, arms overhead. Tuck the back toes under, and on an inhale, push into those toes, lifting the back knee off the mat. High lunge position. From this high lunge position, warrior two position, pivot on the back foot so it's in line with the short edge of your mat. Front knee above the front ankle, and the arms parallel to the floor. Make it a strong position, keep the shoulders relaxed, but have the arms strong. Feel the muscles in your fingers, but feel the relaxation in the shoulders. Feel the opening in the hip area. Take a deep inhale and a very slow exhale. Now on your next inhale, shift your weight forward, reach forward. And on the exhale, place your front elbow on top of the front upper leg. Left arm goes up and over in line with your back leg. So check if it's in line with your back leg. And maybe for 2 full cycles of breath, right arm parallel to the left arm. Deep inhale, lengthen the spine. And on an exhale, stay. 1 more full cycle of breath, deep inhale, and a slow exhale. And then you come back to a warrior two position. Try to move gracefully. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Make it a strong warrior two position first, and then straighten the front leg. Now from this position, you shift your weight forward again, reach forward. And on the exhale, tips of the right fingers down, left hand goes up. Now important is to keep the length in the right side of the upper body. And maybe for 2 full cycles of breath, right arm parallel to the floor. Inhale and exhale. 1 more full cycle of breath, a deep inhale. And a very slow exhale. When you're done, reverse this movement by placing your back hand on your back leg. Your right arm goes up and over. Let's stay in this position for 1 more deep inhale. Lengthen the right side of the upper body. And then come back to a neutral position. You can place your hands on your waist and pivot on the front foot. Let's go for a wide-legged forward fold. Interlace your fingers behind your back, right thumb over the left thumb, straighten the arms, lengthen the spine, deep inhale. And on the exhale, you fold forward. And try to avoid the rounding of the spine. Try to have the spine straight. If you need to, you can bend your knees. But keep opening your chest. Move your fist away from the bum. Keep lengthening the spine. Keep lengthening the spine, especially when you inhale, and then when you exhale, you can fold forward, maybe just a little bit more. Let's do 1 more full cycle of breath. Deep inhale and exhale. When you're done, release the clasping of the hands, place the hands underneath the shoulders. Come halfway up, lengthen the spine again. And place your hands on your waist. Come halfway up, bend your knees if they're not bent yet, and then very slowly come in an upright position. Let's go back to that warrior two position. Arms wide and pivot on the front foot. Now from this position, we're going to do a transition into a low plank position. So shift your weight slightly forward. Inhale, flip the front palm and lean all the way back, maybe grabbing your hands behind your back. And on an exhale, gracefully windmill your arms forward. Lower down to a low plank position, maybe front foot off the mat when you lower halfway down. Inhale, upwards facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's continue, left side. Inhale, left leg all the way up. One full cycle of breath in that position. And on the exhale, second exhale, step your left foot forward in between the hands. Lower the back knee down, untuck the back toes, and come up with your arms overhead. Leave the shoulders relaxed. And on the exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back with the left thumb over the right thumb. Straight arms faced away from the bum, open chest. Lengthen the spine when you inhale. And on the exhale, open the chest towards the ceiling. 2 more full cycles of breath. Deep inhale. And exhale, open the chest towards the ceiling. Let's do that for 1 more time. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, open the chest towards the ceiling. Back bind. Come back to a neutral position for the spine. Arms overhead. And tuck the back toes under. Push into those toes. High lunge position. From this high lunge position, warrior 2 position. Move gracefully, pivot on that back foot. Arms parallel to the floor. The spine in the middle, the front knee above the front ankle. Relax shoulders with strong arms and strong fingers. Stay in that position for 1 more full cycle of breath. Feel the openness in the hip area and the relaxation in the shoulders. Now next inhale, reach forward. And on the exhale, place the front elbow on top of the front upper leg. Right arm goes up and over, in line with your back leg. So maybe check if it's in line with your back leg. And then maybe for 2 full cycles of breath, left arm parallel to the right arm, lengthening. Exhale, stay in that position. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, stay in that position. And when you're done, come back to a warrior 2 position. Make it a strong warrior 2 position first. And then straighten the front leg. On an inhale, reach forward again, lengthen the left side of the upper body. And on the exhale, left hand down, right hand goes up. But lengthen, keep lengthening the left side of your upper body. And then maybe for 2 full cycles of breath, left arm parallel to the floor. Reaching the tips of the left hand forward. Leaving the tips of the right hand up, left hand forward. Let's do 1 more deep inhale and a slow exhale. And then on your next inhale, reverse this position by placing your back hand on your back leg. Left arm goes up and over. Feel the stretch in the left side of the upper body. Stretch it out a little bit more when you inhale next. And then come back to a neutral position for the spine. Pivot on the front foot. Make sure your big toes are slightly in. If you want to, you can widen the stance of the feet. Right leg is forward fold again. Interlace your fingers behind your back, left thumb over the right thumb. Straighten the arms, fist away from the bum. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and on the exhale from the hips. From the hips you fold forward. And again, try to avoid rounding of the spine. Fist away from your bum. Lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, fold forward if you can. You can bend your knees if that's helpful for you. And then you can very slowly straighten the back of the legs just a little bit more when you exhale. Let's do 1 more deep inhale and a slow exhale. And then when you're done, you can release the clasp of the hands. You place your hands underneath the shoulders. You come halfway up. If you need to, if you want to, you can bend your knees. You can place your hands on your waist, and on an inhale, very slowly you come up. Now from this position, warrior 2 position. From this warrior 2 position, shift your weight slightly forward, flip the front palm, lean all the way back, maybe grabbing your hands behind your back, and on an exhale, windmill your arms forward, lower down to a low plank position, maybe your front foot off the mat when you lower halfway down. On the inhale, upwards facing dog, and on the exhale, down dog.
Talking and breathing all together.
Yeah, man. How much time do I have? 5 minutes? Is it fine?
2 more hours.
When you're in your down dog position,
20.
20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's work on the core, because this is a power core sequence that we do at Yogaground. it's always a fixed sequence. The power class and the power core class are always fixed sequence. So when we're open again, come please join us wherever you're from. But let's continue. So for your next inhale, come up with your right leg all the way up. Let's breathe very slowly. And on the exhale, move your right knee towards your right elbow and the shoulders above the wrists. And on the inhale, you go all the way up. And let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, knee towards the elbow, shoulders above the wrist. 1 more time. Inhale all the way up. And exhale. Now on the inhale, let's go all the way up. And on the exhale, this time the knee towards the nose. Round the spine a little bit more. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, knee towards the forehead maybe. Round the spine. Inhale up, 1 more time. Exhale, round the spine, knee towards the nose or forehead. Inhale, go all the way up. And on the exhale, knee towards the opposite elbow. Power core. Inhale, go all the way up. 2 more times. Exhale, knee towards the opposite elbow. Let's do that 1 more time. Make it your best one. It's your last one. Inhale, go all the way up. Exhale. Now stay in that position. Place your right hand in the middle, pivot on the back foot. Left hand goes all the way up. Maybe straighten the right leg. Right foot off the mat. Fall in triangle. When you're in this position, come back to a 3-limb down dog position. From this position, step your right foot forward in between the hands. Come up for a high lunge position. From your high lunge position, inhale, stay, and on the exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, come up. Let's do that 2 more times. On the exhale, hinge forward. Let's do that 1 more time. Inhale, come up, and on the exhale, hinge forward. You can place your hands in front of your chest center. Really push into those back toes, straightening the back leg. And then very slowly, with a strong back leg, you shift forward, you come off your back foot, you straighten the front leg, upper body and your back leg parallel to the floor. Maybe arms sideways or overhead. When you're in that warrior 3 position, very slowly, step your back foot back again on the mat. From this position, warrior 2 position. Make it a strong warrior 2 position. And from this warrior 2 position, we're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to shift the weight forward, but do it with a straight, strong back leg, half moon pose. Ardha Chandrasana. Strong back leg, lower the tips of the right fingers down, left hand goes up. Straighten the back leg, straighten the front leg. And when you're done, or you fall out of position, come back to a warrior 2 position. And from this warrior 2 position, shift your weight forward, flip the front palm, lean all the way back, and on the exhale, wiggle your arms forward. Lower down to a low plank position. Inhale, open your chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Left side. Next inhale, left leg all the way up, let's go. And on the exhale, left knee towards the left elbow, shoulders above the wrist. Inhale, let's go up. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Let's go, 1 more time. Inhale up, and exhale. Inhale, let's go up. Exhale, knee towards the nose, round the spine. Inhale, go up. Exhale, knee towards the forehead or nose. Inhale up, 1 more time. Come on. Exhale. Inhale, go all the way up. Exhale, opposite elbow. Let's go. Almost done. 2 more times. Inhale up. And exhale. Almost done. 1 more time. Inhale. Make it your best one. Exhale. Stay in that position. Left hand in the middle, pivot on the back. On the back foot. Right hand goes up. Maybe left leg off the mat. Straighten the left leg. Maybe left foot off the mat. Come on. And then come back to a 3-limb down dog. Well done. That's it. So from this 3-limb down dog, step your left foot forward. In between your hands. Find your balance. Come up. High lunge position. From this high lunge position, hinge forward. On the inhale, come up again. 2 more times. Exhale, hinge forward. Let's do it 1 more time. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Place your hands in front of your chest center. Straighten the back leg, make it strong. And now very slowly shift your weight forward. Come off your back foot, straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg. Upper body and your back leg parallel to the floor. Maybe arms sideways or overhead. Good, well done. Come back to a high lunge position. From this high lunge position, warrior 2 position. From this warrior 2 position, we're going to do the same thing, okay? So half moon pose. Make a strong back leg first, and then very slowly shift your weight forward, come off your back foot. Reach the tips of the left fingers down, right hand goes up. Straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg. Stay in that position if you can. If you fall out, we'll meet each other in a warrior 2 position, very slowly, move gracefully. Now from this warrior 2 position, transition into a low plank position. Shift your weight forward, flip the front palm, lean all the way back, maybe grabbing your hands behind your back, and on the axle, gracefully windmill your arms forward, lower down to a low plank position. And on the axle, down dog. Good. Now from this down dog position, let's lower the knees down, get into a tabletop position. So your knees underneath the hips, the wrist underneath the shoulders, and let's do some cat and cow movement. On the inhale, you can totally arch your spine, chest in between your shoulders, chin forward. And on the axle, start rounding the lower back, tuck the tailbone under, round the middle back. Draw your belly button in, push into your hands, chin on your chest. Inhale, reverse this movement, arching. And exhale, rounding. One more time, inhale. And let's round the spine. Now from this position, let's get into a down dog position one more time. Your final down dog position. Now from this down dog position, let's get into yogi squat, malasana. So walk your hands back. Maybe feet a little bit wider and then bend the knees. Knees wide, and from the inside of the knees, you place your elbows, hands in front of your chest center. Ooh. You guys still there?
Yes.
Good. So malasana. Let's do chikanasana. So place the back of your hand in your armpits, and then you move your elbows back, and you come forward and back and forward. And if you walk forward, you're like a chicken. Don't do that, that's a joke. Don't do that. Don't do everything the yoga teacher tells you to do. Some are crazy. Okay, let's do crow pose. So if you're familiar with crow pose, let's go for it. If you know what you do in crow, if you know what to do in crow pose, go for it. If you don't know what to do, have your hands on the floor or mat, have your index fingers parallel to each other, and come up with the hips. Have your hands a little bit wider, that's a good base. So heel toe your feet together, move your feet a little bit more in, and come off your heels. Bend the elbows, and the elbows go back instead of out. So elbows go back. Bend the knees and shift your weight forward, look forward as well. And place the knees on the back of the upper arms. And then shift your weight forward, so you're only on the tips of your big toes. And then if you can, you lift one foot and then you place it back, or you lift the other foot and you place it back. Or if you can, you fly and you lift both feet. If you're in crow position, try to straighten the arms. If you can, jump back. If you can, jump into crow. If you can, maybe lift one knee off one of the arms. Do whichever variation you like. Whenever you're done practicing, come back to a seated position with the legs in front of you.
I thought you would go to... No,
huh? Oh, you want to do something else? Okay, let's just sit down. Let's sit down with the legs in front of you. And very important, more important than having straight legs is having a straight back. So some of you need to, just like me, need to bend your knees so that you can place your hands next to you. Have a long neck. So take a very deep inhale, have a long spine, and relax the shoulders. Now try to have the base of the big toes a little bit more forward in comparison with the base of the small toes. So you feel the engagement of the muscles on the inside of the upper legs. Good.
Control your breath.
And control your breath, especially when you're doing this and you're talking. Okay, good. Well done. Now from this position, let's do reverse tabletop position. Walk your hands a little bit back with the tips of the fingers still pointing forward. And let's place the feet, the soles of the feet on the mat. Have the knees up. Walk the hands a little bit more back. And then from this position, you press into your hands, you press into your heels, and you lift the hip area. You open the chest area in this position. Relax the head. Move the knees away from the hip area to lift the hip area a little bit higher. Stay in this position. Open the chest a little bit more if you can. And then very slowly you lower the glutes down again. Let's straighten the legs in front of us and make sure if you're on a yoga mat, make sure you're seated halfway your mat. You can come up with the arms overhead, relax the shoulders, and then very slowly you lower the spine down. Keep the arms overhead. And now for one deep and long inhale, make yourself as long as possible. Deep inhale, 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 expand your belly. Lengthen, 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 point the toes. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, release. Let's do that one more time. Deep inhale, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Keep inhaling, keep inhaling. Inhale, inhale. Exhale, release. Well done. Let's go for bridge pose. You can place the soles of the feet on the mat, knees up. Feet hip width. And make sure you can touch your heels with your fingers. Plant your hands in the mat. And from this position, on an inhale, you press into your heels, lifting the hip area all the way up. And if you want to, you can shuffle your shoulder blades towards each other, interlacing the fingers behind your back. Now take that interlacing of the fingers, that feels a little bit weird, so that one day they both feel the same. They both feel good. Stay in that position, opening the chest area, lifting the hip area, knees away from the hip area. So this is bridge pose. Let's go down. Release the clasping of the hands. Shuffle your shoulder blades away from each other if needed, and then very slowly lower the spine down. Start with the spine in the upper back, and then very slowly middle back, and then lower back. So option for you, if you want to, you can do bridge pose one more time, or you can do wheel pose. So for wheel pose, you place your hands next to your ears with the tips of the fingers pointing forward. Make sure you're not slippery. Have the same feet position, so your feet are in. Your feet are in, feet hip width distance, and then from that position you lift your hip area, and from that position you press into your hands, lifting the whole spine off the mat. If you want to get into a variation that you like, you can, if you want to lift one foot, but only do it when you're an advanced practitioner. Don't do weird stuff. I can't help you in this position. I would love to, but I can't. So be safe, please. If it doesn't feel good, come out of this pose. Do it very slowly. When you want to come out of your pose, bend your elbows. Place your shoulder blades back on the mat, and then very slowly lower the spine back on the mat. Good. Take at least 2 full cycles of breath to neutralize the spine. And when you're 2 full cycles of breath are done, let's hug the knees in. Hug the knees in. But when you inhale, expand your belly. And then when you exhale, draw the belly button in, creating space for your knees to come in just a little bit closer. 2 more times. Deep inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, knee towards your chest a little bit more. Deep inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, knees towards the chest. Well done. Okay, let's go for happy baby pose. Keep the knees bent, but with the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. Have the knees wide, and from the inside of the knees, you either grab the outside of the feet or the big toes. When you're grabbing the big toes, maybe use 2 other fingers than the index and middle fingers, because we always tend to use that one. Maybe use the ring finger and the pinky. Never use only the ring finger. So when you're in this happy baby pose, maybe you can wiggle from side to side, massaging the lower back. That's always nice. Stay in this position for about 2 more full cycles of breath. Keep expanding your belly when you inhale. When you exhale, relax. 1 more full cycle of breath. Good, well done. Now from this happy baby pose, let's get into plow pose. For plow pose, you can straighten the legs. Straighten the legs up, and you have your arms alongside your body. You press into those hands, and then when your lower back lifts, you support your lower back with your hands, okay? So press, and then move the feet up and over. Move the feet up and over. And only, and I repeat, only if the toes are touching the floor behind you, you can interlace your fingers behind your back. Have the elbows closed. If the knees are not touching the floor behind you, or when the toes are not touching the floor behind you, you can bend your knees with the knees next to your ears. And try to align in your plow pose. Try to align your hip area above your shoulder area. Now stay in that position for about 2 more full cycles of breath. Keep supporting the lower back if your toes are not touching the mat. Do not loop left or right. And from this position, let's go into shoulder stand. Now for shoulder stand, support your lower back. Have the elbows closed, or your hands on your lower back, your elbows close towards each other. You bend your knees, and then you move your feet up. You straighten the hip above the shoulder area, the knees above the hips, and the ankles above the knees. Keep supporting the lower back. 2 full cycles of breath. One more full cycle of breath. When you want to come out of your position, just bend your knees. Bend your knees towards your face. And then very slowly, you lower the spine down. Do it very mindfully, do it slowly. And you're back in a lying down position on the mat. One more minute, right? Okay, I only have 1 more minute, so I need to close off. I would like to thank you very, very, very much for joining. If you want to, you can stay in Shavasana. Stay in that lying down position, have the feet falling out. Have relaxed shoulders. Relax your breathing. Have heavy arms. Take a very deep inhale. Expand your belly. And on the exhale, become very heavy. Relax the upper legs, relax the glutes. Relax the lower back, middle back, and upper back. Relax the chest area, the shoulder area. Relax the arms, your hands, the muscles in your fingers. Relax the back of the neck and the skin behind your ears. Relax your jaw, your lips, and your tongue. Relax your nose. Relax the muscles behind your eyes. Relax your forehead. And even relax that little piece of skin in between your eyebrows. Relax. Stay in this position for as long as you like. From our Weerhouden studio, I would like to thank you very much for joining. We hope to see you very soon again. Please be careful with everything you do. Be safe. And hope to see you very soon again. Thank you very, very, very much.
They say all thank you, Basiet.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And people who are still in Shavasana, I would like to tell you, stay there, enjoy it. Maybe for 5 more minutes, right?
Yeah, 5,
Yeah,
at least 5.
yeah, use it. Use your Shavasana after maybe even a double workout, boxing and then power core. Tomorrow we also have a double one. We have whilst Mandy, oh hello, with Mandy doing core workouts, and then we will have, oh my god, what do we have afterwards? I don't know, flow I think. No, flex, sorry, flex.
Yeah,
so we have a core with Mandy and a flex with Nicola. Yay!
Bye, bye.
Thank you all. Thank you for all those positive messages you're sending us. Thank you, and see you hopefully very, 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 very soon.
Bye, bye.